first of all, welcome. I see a lot of new faces and a lot of familiar, wonderful old friends, including this guy, who's 86 years old. He's the most handsome 86-year-old guy around, I think. And he's single again. I'm sorry to say widowed, and so it's not a completely happy situation, but, ladies take note. And, John, he's got his chemistry straightened out, and everything else, too. John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Bill.
Which bridge is he older than?
What?
Which bridge is he older? I'm famous for being older than the Golden Gate Bridge. And Don, I guess, is older than the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know. But I definitely am older than the Golden Gate Bridge, so he's got to be. Now, how many people are older than 75 here? Okay, all these people are older than the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, check that out. I mean, that's something, isn't it? So, anyway, okay, now, we begin the meeting with the forum, which is a time when we just kind of think together, investigate together, and we become one collective thinking entity, one spirit in search of the truth with respect to health and longevity. So, and of course that means that, questions can come from anywhere, comments can come from anywhere. Who's got a question? I'm going to pick on somebody. Michelle, come on, you got a question? First question. And on top of that, she has a mouthful, so. There you go, Andy.
I had a person ask me about gout, and I was wondering if anybody here has successfully treated it with gout.
Very good. Gout. Gout, uric acid. Anybody got a thought on that? Well, it's.
Black cherry juice, organic black cherry juice.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think.
Trader Joe.
So in other words, you take cherry juice as the antidote, right? Yeah. I think I've heard of that. I don't know.
My husband had it and he got rid of it.
Yeah. The thing is to, of course, the main thing is to avoid the sources of uric acid. And I'm not sure what they are, but I think it's like meats and sausage. Yeah, protein, right. There you go, thank you. Now, I saw an interesting thing. I get Jonathan Wright's newsletter, which I am thrilled by time and time again. I don't know if anybody else get Jonathan Wright's newsletter besides me? Yeah, Mike and I.
Yeah.
John, okay.
Oh, it just started.
Great, how about you?
No, I
And
Okay.
Jonathan Wright, in his last issue, has
But you know what?
discussion of lithium,
It keeps going down.
low-dose lithium. And he says in that lithium, low-dose lithium, is one of the
And it's,
ways to
It says, it keeps saying.
oh, here it is again.
prevent gout and to, I think, treat it. Now, I can get that for you, Randy. It's in the newsletter, the last one. Lithium is a very exciting subject. I keep hoping I can delve into it more. But of course, and by that I mean just like read the whole doggone article, and not just peruse it. And I've got a whole file on lithium, because lithium is famous for helping people with bipolar disorders, and it's very good for the brain. But the problem is that as it's used in medicine, it's used in high doses, and high doses are very problematic. You have to get it just right, or everything goes screwy. But low doses, extremely low doses, can be effective too. So much so that even they can, I think, where was it? They did this experiment, or did this research. They did a study of how much lithium was in the drinking water, and then they correlated it with longevity, and there was a correlation. And it was a very, very small amount in the drinking water. The mineral lithium, it could be lithium carbonate, I suppose, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, well, that's probably the best. Lithium orotate is probably the best because it's absorbed very well, and therefore you can, again, use less.
240 tab
tablets for $6.50.
Yeah, it's absolutely tremendously inexpensive. So I would check into there, man. Another question. Yes, ma'am.
I have a 17-year-old son who has seizures, epilepsy, and he just had a last one last Wednesday, and now he's going to be heavily medicated with Keppra. And I wonder if there's a substitute for him. A substitute or anything
For the
else
drug.
that's.
Well, has he been on any other medications? Because Keppra can cause behavioral disinhibition. It can cause, psychotic behavior. It's not a medication I like. There's lots of medications for seizures, so you just have to ask what the pros and cons of that particular one is.
He hasn't been on it.
Yeah, by the way, that's Dr. Susan Downs, who's very knowledgeable about such things. And this is her special field. I mean, not seizures, but I mean, mental illness and so forth. Okay, here you go.
Okay, I use the ketogenic diet, it's very, very helpful for any kind of seizures. It's got to be a high dose of coconut oil, okay? Did you say anything else?
Exactly, right.
Right, just coconut oil and really cut back on the carbs and really cut back, small to moderate animal protein, but high fat.
Right.
Like,
I have read that also ketogenic diet, coconut oil. The other thing that you can read about is medium chain triglyceride oil for treating, as part of the ketogenic diet to treat seizures. It's actually there's a great article on Wikipedia just about it. Just look up medium chain triglyceride oil.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's what's in coconut, by the way.
But it's a different mix. Medium chain triglyceride oil has been more effective at treating seizures than just coconut oil.
Yeah, okay, well, the coconut oil is like 50% medium chain triglycerides, and then they can extract the medium chain triglycerides. And so per ounce, it would be more effective, I guess. But they're both. I think they're equally effective as long as you take twice as much coconut oil as medium chain triglyceride extract.
Okay.
Yeah, I read. No, don't change the subject.
I do have a totally different issue.
Let me come back to it again. We can just say. Well, let me tell you a story. Mike and I and some other people, Steve Fox, and we got together with this fellow, friend of mine in Chicago, and we had a nice dinner in Saratoga to hear what this fellow had to say about the use of infrared light to treat infectious disease. And remember that, Mike? What was his name? He had this odd name, I can't remember it now, J.L. Smith. Anyways, he's an Oxford-educated guy, British. Remember we had the dinner thing? Well, anyway, this is what I found out from him. I guess he was staying in my house too, and we had this dinner to hear what he had to say. Very, very, very fine project he has. And he mentioned that his grandson was having seizures, about one a month or something. It was pretty severe. And he'd been having them for a long time, and he's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. So I said to him, because I've been studying, as you know, coconut oil for quite a while, I said to him, and the ketogenic diet, exactly what our good friends here said. And I said, well, I would recommend give it coconut oil a chance. I mean, what's the harm? There's no downside. There's no danger in it. It's inexpensive. You can just give it to him and see what happens. And I sent him some stuff. And he gave it to his son, his grandson. And I got a message. I was just so thrilled, really. They stopped. They're gone. They went away. And sometimes you do that, and I believe in my mind that biochemistry is the secret to success, rather than drugs. I believe that. But then somehow when it gets confirmed like that, so dramatically, it's sort of like, Oh my God, thank God. Thank God that I told the guy that. I mean, here's this little kid laying around having seizures and his parents concerned he's gonna bite his tongue off or hit his head or whatever, right? And all of a sudden it stops. And it took me about 5 minutes of work to straighten that out. I thought, oh, it was such an incredible experience. And you know what happens? Usually the problem isn't that severe, but again and again, I'm sure you've had the same experience. I know a lot of tricks like that. And of course, most of them I learned from Steve Fox, who's my main teacher. But anyway, so I tell you that story because I want you to remember to give that a try, young lady. Okay? And if you have any questions, get my phone number and I'll help you get all the information. There was the ketogenic diet, though, if you Google that, you'll get information. There was even a program on NBC on that. And of course, the doctors still don't know about it. They think kooky because it doesn't involve pharmaceuticals. Ketogenic, K-E-T-O, genic. And by the way, the word ketone is right in that. And the ketone is what is generated by the liver when you ingest medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. And medium-chain triglycerides are a primary ingredient in coconut oil. And it's all like that, it's biochemistry. And the interesting thing is, it's something that you might want to know because why is so focused on coconut oil? Coconut oil and palm oil are about the only sources there are in nature of medium-chain triglycerides. It's the medium-length fatty acid is fairly rare. Most are long or short. So anyway, I saw someone with their hand up here. Did I? No? Okay. Okay, next question, Ira.
I just want to make a comment that we're in the political season, and the politicians are talking about improving our medical situation and our health systems and Medicaid and Medicare and whatnot. It's possible that a lot of ideas have been discussed here. It's possible, my idea is that perhaps the Smart Life Club should get together on any ideas that we agree on and send them to the politicians who are listening apparently now. I'm not advocating any one idea, but if we all agree, for example, that prevention beats the hell out of a lot of medicine, maybe that's the way to focus Medicare. I'm not advocating that only, but my point is that the club should have a political end and use the fact that the politicians are listening.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Ira. Let's see, there was a young lady up here. Yeah.
So I have a 20-year-old friend who has PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I was wondering the efficacy of hormone replacement therapy for that.
A son? Did you say a son?
Oh, a friend.
Oh, friend, okay. Anybody have an idea on that? I guess my hearing is as good as it used to be. Oh, really? Good. Okay, he's not here right now, right? Okay. Pam, do you have something to say on this?
Oh, not on that.
Okay. Anybody having, okay, you go. Yes, sir.
The question was in regards to hormone replacement?
In respect to polycystic ovarian.
Okay, yeah. So I've been treated a handful of these patients. One of the primary things we see is insulin resistance. And the insulin resistance? Sure. So the primary thing we see is insulin resistance.
Good.
Okay, and the insulin resistance is what it's doing is causing the estrogen to convert over to testosterone. Testosterone is then causing disruption in the feedback loop from the pituitary to the ovaries. So you're seeing all kinds of disruption with the cyclical hormones, breast tenderness, all the typical PMS symptoms. And the testosterone is also going to cause cysts to grow in the ovaries and potential hair growth, all those PCOS kind of common symptoms. So the big thing is really addressing the the insulin resistance, getting the carbohydrates down, getting off the gluten.
Insulin resistance, right?
Yeah, insulin resistance is really the key thing. Hormonally, we really wouldn't go after any hormones specifically other than just getting insulin under control to start.
Very good.
Changing the diet, of course.
Thank you very much.
So this is for someone who's already been on the paleo diet for about 2-3 years, very low carb diet already. So it's hard to imagine that she has insulin resistance. So what would we do in that case?
The second thing would be infections.
Okay.
So the second thing there would be to look at infections, because infections can essentially drive up cortisol, can then still cause a cortisol insulin resistance like feedback loop. So addressing the infection, so I'd look at make sure she's not eating a whole bunch of mycotoxins, make sure she doesn't have any parasitic infections or mold exposures or any environmental toxicity which could be driving that whole inflammatory pathway.
Sir, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Justin Marchigiani. I have a practice down in Cupertino.
What kind of,
Oh, I'm a functional medicine doctor. We also do chiropractic medicine as well as nutrition.
wonderful, wonderful. And your name again is Justin?
Yeah,
Justin
Marchigiani.
Okay, that's really great, great stuff. Now, notice, by the way, that as usual, when there's a problem, there's many possible causes. So you notice how that analysis developed. It isn't just like one thing and that'll solve the problem. You got you take the most likely thing first, but if that doesn't work, then you go to what else it could be, and what else it could be, and what else it could be, and finally, you get the super detectives who can think of that seventh thing that no one has suspected, and then he's calling back their house and put them on TV or something, right? So it's very important to use the checklist approach when you have a problem, and Phil Miller is very good at this, by the way. You know, and this is what it takes to be a good doctor. A good doctor is hard to detect, am I right? Phil Miller, by the way, blesses us with his presence. I wish he would come more often. So thank you for coming, and shame on you for not being here more often.
And his great book, the great book that he printed.
The great book, right? So it's yeah, right. What's the name of it again, Phil?
Life Extension Revolution.
Right, Life Extension Revolution. It's a very good book, and it has a lot on hormone replacements. So, okay, another question. Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me back to you. And then I'll be back to you. Yes, sir.
So I have a question about activated charcoal. I've heard that you should eat it for if you've ingested things that aren't optimal, like you eat beef that isn't exactly perfect. And what I've heard is, it's good for everything. And I'd just like to know a little bit more about how it works. So if anybody can recommend a good reference, because I haven't been able to find any, I would appreciate it.
Any takers? Steve Fox recommends it, I can tell you that. But it's not on Google, you can't Google it?
Can't find anything useful.
Okay, well, I would call Steve Fox in.
There's a
Here you go.
The primary thing about activated charcoal is it absorbs things. So if you have a deficiency,
what things?
Things that crawl around and make inflammation and make you sick, it'll absorb just about anything you put in your stomach. So,
Like food?
Food will probably overpower it, but medicines, if you combine it with expensive medicine, you're wasting the medicine. I don't know what it doesn't absorb. It's mechanical. It's the steaming process creates a massive surface area. And so it essentially is like a sponge and physically collects stuff.
So it absorbs just about everything and then
Everything I can think of.
Okay.
By the way, that was Rob Larson, also a tremendous resource in this group. Yes, sir.
Mercury.
Especially mercury. See, so, sorry? No, it won't pull it out of your system, but if you pull it out and it's floating around, it's a good way to then take the final step. Because otherwise, you pull it out and it gets reabsorbed all over again, or rebonded. And that's, I think, how Steve envisions using it. Isn't that right, Manny? Has he ever talked to you about that?
I haven't talked to you about that.
Yeah. Hold on. Sir.
Well,
activated charcoal is a carbon material and is very hydrophobic, so it's going to pick up anything that is hydrophobic in return. So most organic compounds are hydrophobic, and therefore it picks that up. So that's why you can have activated charcoal to pick up the materials in the water, etc. But that's just basic chemistry. Just picks up organic compounds.
And how about mercury?
Mercury, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does, because I mean, Fox says it does, and
Well,
it's very simple.
if the mercury is complex with an organic compound, because it'll be a salt of something, it'll pick it up because it's a salt of something.
Very
But by just being a pure metal, I'm not sure it pick up a pure metal, but a salt hooked up to something that's organic, it will pick up.
I think, in fact, mercury becomes dangerous when it does combine with some organic. So I think that would explain it very good. Thank you for saying that. Okay, I guess we're out of time here, Mike. Okay, now what's next, Mike? Okay.
15 minutes.
15 minutes break. Okay, good. All right, 15 minutes break, you guys. Say hello to everybody. Check out, you know, if you have any further questions, talk to everybody who's spoken. You know, be friendly. You know, like the church, say hello to the people behind you, beside you. Give anybody you don't know a hug. Okay, and we have to have refreshments. And we'll get started again at 10 minutes.
Chemistry is a way to look at energies and how to handle energies, because electrosmog, electrophones, etc. And what he's done is, in Switzerland, for several towns that were really having problems with electrosmog and people were getting sick, etc. He devised a way using his biogeometry to get rid of it for 2 different towns. So I think you'll probably be very interested in this particular lecture because it has to do with health. And FMBR, Foundation on Mind Being Research, gives the talks at Unity Church, which is in Palo Alto. And it's at 7:30 Friday, the 24th, and the brochures or the handouts are out there. And there's also going to be 2 workshops, one on specifically on electrosmog on the following Saturday. So please, I think you'll really like this. Dr. Kareem is from Egypt, and specifically to give this particular lecture. Okay. That is on Friday, August 24th, 7:30, Unity Palo Alto, 3391 Middlefield Road in Palo Alto.
Okay, that's where we used to meet, you know, a couple of years ago, right up the road in Middlefield, so that's easy to get to. Okay, I now want to hear from Pam.
And I'm really excited about our group tonight, and thank you for all coming. First thing I'd like to ask is, it's very important, please shut your cell phones off as soon as we start. The next thing is, I would like everybody to know that I have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm stage 4. That's the worst disease you could have. I'm at the end of the disease. My doctor, my MD, has been following me for years, and I've been using a low-level laser, not realizing the capability of what this laser can do, which really shocked me. But anyway, I love my laser, and I would never do without it. I do it almost every day, and I don't take a lot of supplements like I used to because finances are really tough now. But anyway, I went to the doctor last week, and yesterday, and he said to me, Pam, I got some good news. He did a panel of blood work, and I had a lot of good stuff on the panel of blood work, only one really bad thing, and that was that I was high on calcium, so I have a parathyroid problem issue that has been going on for years. But the good news is, and I wanted to share it with everyone, there's always hope at the end of the tunnel. And I've had my disease since I was 30 years old. I'll be 63 in about 9 days. My disease is now in remission. Thank you. I never I would see the day that this happen. I didn't try hard, but I prayed hard, and I did use machines and devices, and I wouldn't hurt a fly. I've always been good to people, helping people out, and I think my prayers were answered as well as the low-level laser. The exciting news is my MD said to me, I said, Dr. Stan, what can you contribute this to? He said, I strongly feel it was the low-level laser. I will bet 100% your low-level laser cured your arthritis. Now, I talked to Raymond Francis, my scientist friend in Florida, and Ray says, I 100% agree with him, but he says, I don't think it's in remission. I think it's gone. So I wanted to share this. This is exciting. I never thought I'd see the day this would happen. Really. And also, one more quick thing I'd like to ask anybody, if someone has borrowed a book up here, it's $15 if you'd like to buy it. Thank you.
Mike's gonna introduce the speaker.